I'm joined today by Kyle Stratus, founder of Stratis Data Labs, O'Reilly author, and all around data innovator. We're going to dig into Kyle's journey from working inside fast paced startups to building a couple of his own. And we're going to get the inside scoop on his new O'Reilly book, all about model context protocol and the future of AI agents, a huge topic for data engineers right now. So, Kyle, for everybody out there that doesn't know a whole lot about you yet, tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. Thanks for having me first, Chris. Really excited to be here. It's been a long time since I've done any sort of live stream or podcast or anything along those lines. I'm Kyle Stratus. I've been a software engineer for 11 and a half or so years now. Self-taught. My background's actually in neuroscience. I left a neuroscience PhD program because I discovered that I like coding better than I liked science, and also liked being able to make a living. That was also very important. Um,
Yeah.
so I fell into working in startups about 3 years or so into my career, and have been doing it ever since. I've founded a couple of my own, and now I am fully independent with Stratis Data Labs, doing consulting mostly for early stage startups, helping them do everything they need to do with their data, um, data modeling, building backends, building AI agents, building teams. Even I'm helping a client right now actually bootstrap a new product engineering team. So the experience I've gotten working in startups and wearing many hats is kind of transformed into this wide range of consulting, freelancing work that I do now.
That is that's super cool. I actually have one of my mentees has his PhD and was into just uh, on the academic side, and he was like, "This is not what I want to do with the rest of my life." Like he was like has like a chemical PhD, and he was like, "I want to do data." Like he really loved the just the analytics and all of the research that he did doing getting ready for his PhD, and he learned in that process that data was really what he loved. So that's awesome. That's similar. I think a relatable story to some other people out there for sure.
Oh yeah, especially in the data science area. All the best kind of data scientists I've worked with have come from PhD programs in all the different sciences. Because for most of them, you need to have such a command of statistics, like even beyond what I had in my program, that they blow anyone out of the water. The coding stuff you can learn. The statistics stuff's a
Yeah.
lot harder to get an intuition for.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So I know that we had talked to a little bit before about some of the startups that you founded, and there was one really interesting story that's really cool that I think that really will resonate with some of the people out there about, and maybe a little bit of a cautionary tale too. Uh, do you mind telling everybody about that?
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite stories. So back before I actually started working in startups, I founded my first one with a group of friends. Uh, I say friends. We actually met and became friends through Reddit and through building this company. So there was a while where there was a subreddit called Meme Economy where people would act like they were Jim Cramer buying and selling memes as if they were stocks based on how popular they were. Like, oh, this one is going up. Like, you got to buy this meme now. Get in, right now on the ground floor and all this. And it was just like a silly thing that people did online. And so some of us got together on Discord and we're just like, why don't we actually make this? Like we're all young software engineers with, you know, maybe not a ton of free time, but enough free time to try to put this thing together. And so we started making this stock market game. One of us wasn't me. I wasn't the one that came up with the name, but they came up with the name NASDAQ and the NASDAQ of dank memes. And so we were just hacking on this nonstop. I joined a startup accelerator that was local to me at the time in Tallahassee, and we just were building it. And my part was really doing kind of the business side of things as well as building our analysis engine. So the way we built the stock market was that we would listen to social media, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, all that, and get the fire hose. Back then, you could get a big chunk of the data that was going through live for free. Not so true anymore. And
Right.
we would analyze it for images, and then I built an algorithm to basically do a fuzzy match against the images we had in our database that we were tracking. And so when we got a hit, I had another algorithm, a pricing algorithm that would take into account the interactions, all the engagement for that meme, and for that single post for that meme, put it into one number, and then aggregate that with all the other data we had on the meme, and the pricing function would decay over time, because obviously if you didn't decay it, it would just go up always, and that's not fun for a stock market game. And so I built that portion of it. The other devs built the front end and the traditional web dev stuff, and it was just like a blur. We built this huge community on Reddit that was really into it. We were profiled in like TechCrunch, The Verge, a whole bunch of tech publications online, local, even the local newspaper. I still have a copy of it, even though it's probably half decayed by now because this was like 2017. And we got all this attention, and we were having a lot of fun building it. And I remember the day we wanted to deploy, because of the meme we did on 420, I was driving to driving from Florida to Massachusetts. My grandfather had become very ill, and we were rushing up to see him, before he passed. And I'm driving down Interstate on 95, deploying from my phone, SSHing into our servers, deploying from my phone, driving, trying to get to see my grandfather, making sure this is going off, finding bugs like as more users are coming in. It was just pure insanity. It was a great distraction from everything else that was happening, and all that. But what happened was it was very expensive to run, so I went around looking for funding. I did. I didn't really trick my wife, but I somehow convinced her on our first anniversary for us to go to Orlando, because there was a pitch event there that the Startup Accelerator had a presence at. So I went with some of my buddies from the Startup Accelerator. They crashed on our couch in my grandmother's timeshare, on my first wedding anniversary, to do this pitch event. I made up for it. We made a whole week of it. We did like theme parks and dinners and stuff like that. But there was the night of the pitch event, and I'm up there talking about, these buying and selling memes, and a business case for it, which is social listening and brand management. And everyone else was like defense contractors, like doing amazing work, like cleaning up nuclear waste, or building guidance systems for missiles or something. And it's just like, you want to buy and sell memes as stock? Give me money, please. And so that didn't work out. So after that, I moved back up to the Massachusetts area to be closer to my remaining grandparents and my family that here. Started working at a startup. Some of the guys graduated college and started their careers, and all that. And we couldn't really afford the time or the money to keep paying to keep the lights on. And then we got a cease and desist letter from NASDAQ for the name. And all still have copies of it. So out of that, so we had to change the name, and it just kind of couldn't afford to keep running it, so we shut it down. But we all remained friends after that, and that was kind of my favorite outcome from that, besides the cease and desist, is that I had this group of guys that we've been friends now for 8 years, because we built this together. And we recently, last year, one of our friends, one of the group, got married. All of us came in for the wedding. He was in Virginia. I came from Massachusetts. One guy came from the UK, another from Canada, another from Illinois, and Indiana, Florida, and it was a nice reunion. A lot of us meeting for the first time in person. I brought my daughter. They got to meet her. It was really nice. And then we got a picture. My friend, on his wedding day, brought the framed cease and desist letter so that we could all get a picture in our suits with it. So that it was
like, that's the
fun.
best cautionary tale for anybody getting into a startup is watch the name.
The worst thing that really came of it was I had to deal with a really mean lawyer on the phone a lot, and that's it.
That's awesome. No, that is such a fantastic and just entertaining story, right? I mean, that's awesome. And I'll say that like those types of situations, the people that you're working with in those like high pressure situations are really where some of like lifelong relationships are forged.
Oh,